Hi, welcome to our Wednesday devotional. I'm Drew Patton. I'm the pastor of First Baptist Edwardsville. Thank you for joining us from wherever you may be joining us. We look forward to meeting you and getting to know you. I would like to go ahead and plug our Wednesday night Bible study time. We have a meal at 5:45, and then at 6 we have devotional time where I zoom in and we discuss today's Bible study topic. And then at 6:30 we go on to our Bible study times um, there in the church. And if you are interested in joining us, we would love for you to do so. Well, today we are going to be talking about Jacob. Jacob was the second born son of Isaac, whose older son was Esau. They were twins, actually. Jacob was born second to Esau. And for most of his life, Jacob came in second to Esau, especially in his father's eyes. Isaac preferred Esau to Jacob, and Rachel, Jacob's mother, preferred Jacob to Esau. Um, we see stories in Genesis about their preferences, about Isaac and Rebekah's preferences. Um, but for today's story, we're going to talk about the times that Esau uh, was taken advantage of by Jacob. One day, uh, Esau had been out hunting and came in famished, came in starving to death, while Jacob had been cooking some food, had been cooking a pot of soup that Esau loved. And Jacob uh, convinced Esau to trade his birthright. We don't know exactly what that means, but Jacob convinced Esau to trade his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of soup. And this is kind of absurd to think about somebody being that hungry that they would trade something uh, as seemingly valuable as a birthright to someone for a bowl of soup. But Esau did so, um, and we see little of this, the impact of this, until later when Isaac is getting older and is unable to see well. He tells Esau to go out and kill something and cook it up the way he likes it. In the meantime, Rebekah hears what Esau has been commanded to do, uh, and cooks something up cooks some goats up the way that uh, Isaac likes to eat them. Has Jacob dress up in a hairy uniform outfit because Jacob was a smooth skinned man and Esau was a very hairy man, and and Jacob takes this food into Isaac and receives the blessing. He receives Isaac's blessing for Esau instead of for that the blessing that was meant for Esau. Uh, Jacob receives, and this is the promise that God would bless, the promise that God uh, would bless the world through him. Uh, and because of this, Esau comes back, sees what Jacob has done, and Esau vows to kill Jacob. Well, Jacob runs away. Jacob flees, and he flees to uh, the country of Haran, where Rebekah's family is from, specifically her brother Laban. Well, Jacob meets Laban's daughter Rachel, and falls in love with Rachel and convinces Laban to let him marry her after 7 years of labor, after 7 years of working for Laban. Laban tricks Jacob and gives him his older daughter Leah, and then because Jacob is angry, he gives him Rachel as well. So Jacob marries both of Laban's daughters and works for Laban for 14 years in order to obtain or to receive these daughters in marriage. And then he works another 6 years to work for the flocks. And this is an interesting story, but we don't have time for it right now, of how Jacob tricks Laban into giving him the spotted and striped flock, spotted and striped animals within the flocks. But anyway, so Jacob works for Laban for a full 20 years before he flees Laban to go back to his home country. Um, and while he is fleeing Laban, he has a dream. This in this dream, while he's sleeping, he wrestles with God or with the angel of God, and he wrestles all night until the morning, and God touches his hip and puts it out of socket, so that Jacob will let him go. And Jacob demands, before he lets him go, he demands to be blessed by this person that he's wrestling with, and God blesses him and renames him Israel. Well, that puts us at the end of the story for today. Jacob has made some questionable decisions regarding how he treats Esau and the way that he acts to his father Isaac, and even the way that he acts with regards to Laban. Jacob has also been put in some questionable predicaments, especially with regard to Esau and with Laban. He finds himself in a place where at one time or another each of them are angry enough to kill him. But in the end, God still blesses Jacob, regardless of the situations that he has found himself in. God still tells Jacob that he's going to bless the world through him. And God still tells Jacob that he will be blessed. And in fact, despite all of these things that Jacob has done, God still identifies as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To future generations, Jacob is a patriarch. He's the father he is Israel. He's renamed Israel, but he's the father of the people of Israel. His 12 sons become the 12 tribes of Israel. So for us today, we want to ask the question, are there questionable things that you've done in your life that you feel like God may not be able to work around? Are there things that you've done in your life that you feel like may disqualify you from working for God, living for God, being a great witness for God? Also, are there times in your life when you found yourself in predicaments that you believe that God can't use you through or use you in? I know I have found myself in times when I feel like I don't have the time or the money or the wherewithal to be useful to God. But in those times, God has still used me in my relationships and brought people closer to himself and brought me closer to him, even when I didn't feel like I was close to God in the first place. So for us, what kind of situations and what kind of decisions have you made in the past that put you in a place to where you maybe question God's willingness to work with you, or work for you or through you or in you? Today, I want to encourage you to know that God will work through you, will work in you, and will use you despite or even because of all of these predicaments and decisions. So today, Thank you for joining us. I've really enjoyed our time. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion of Isaac, Jacob. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion of Jacob. And we'll see you tonight. Bye.